guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Skylar. If you're new here, welcome. For those who aren't new here, I am sorry I have not posted in 13 days, actually 14. I'm sorry I haven't posted in 2 weeks. I'm slacking, you know. The ADHD been getting the best of me, not an excuse, but go watch my ADHD video if you'd like to, relate to me or learn more about the topic. But today's topic is going to be Native American heritage and Native American statistics that a lot of people don't know about. I made a video last year on my channel that kind of went over Native American suicide rates. This video is going to be very similar to that, but better, because I would like to think I've gotten better the past year at just speaking, editing, all that good shit. So I'm going to go over some of the same statistics I covered in that video, but I'm also going to share some more that I found. I'd like to go deeper into like my actual heritage and stuff, but as I will read some of the statistics, because of certain reasons, I was not as lucky as some to be as connected with my heritage as much as I wish I could be, but I do plan on working on that throughout the years as I get older. I'm also gonna give you guys a little bit of an update on where I'm at with my whole family situation, because in that video I did mention that I found my biological dad's side of my family and things were going well. I was talking to them, but that now they kind of just ghosted me. My uncle too. My Facebook messages won't deliver. The last thing I heard from my dad, he was in a ditch, and there's just a lot of stuff going on. One of the phone calls, he was telling me that he was like getting chased by the cops, that they were racially profiling him, that he's, out of all my uncles, he's the only one that hasn't gone in prison yet. So hopefully that's not the case. But for anyone who doesn't know, before we get into all the statistics, I'm just going to give you guys like a little bit of a background if you're new here on who I am. I was adopted from South Dakota. I have a whole video on my adoption story right here if you click the I or the link below. And then I was adopted by like a really terrible family, as I mentioned in that video, but I was also adopted by a non-native family, which is actually going to be one of the statistics I cover here soon. But with that being said, I didn't get to be connected with my heritage like all throughout growing up, and I used to actually not be very comfortable with being like even admitting that I was Native American. I was very shy about it. I was very like, I would feel like I was a closeted like Native American. Like I would prefer to just not tell people, or I would lie about what I was, and I cover a lot more of that in the video that I link down below. And in the I might also make a whole nother video again about internalized racism, because that's what that video was about. My real mom was also part Native, but she died from, we assume, drugs or suicide at the age of 34. And yeah, my brother, my biological brother that I was supposed to be adopted with, he was adopted with me, but my family sent him back, and he actually got adopted by like a really great white family. He played lacrosse throughout high school. He goes to college. He got the better end of the stick, but like everything happens for a reason, and I love him. I'm so glad that I found him. He looks just like a little boy version of me, a smidge darker, and nowadays I'm jealous of that. I'm like, shit, bitch, he is dark as my fucking shirt, and it's kind of annoying. Actually, I think he's darker than my shirt. Backstory out of the way, we're going to get into some interesting statistics. The first statistic I'm going to cover is the same one I talk about in the video that I link in the I and in the bio, and that is the suicide rates for Native Americans. Now, this is the 8th leading cause of death in Native Americans of all ages, and it's actually the 2nd leading cause of death in Native Americans from the ages of 10 to 24. So me being in that range from the 10 to 24 age, but especially being like younger, I was an extremely suicidal kid, like extremely. And it's crazy because I never knew these statistics or anything as a kid. So I didn't know that like, everything I was going through was against these odds, and like I had the reasons to be feeling these ways. Instead, I just felt like I thought I was crazy, and like I was told I was crazy by my adoptive family, and all sorts of shit. And I wasn't even like suicidal until the crazy shit really started happening. After I was arrested at 11 years old, story time right here, and after I was already living in hotels, the adoption story also right here and in the link below. Actually, it's not right here anymore. I don't know why I do that. This is I always do this in my videos. I'm like, yeah, it's right here, even though we know that YouTube got rid of that feature years ago. But I'm just so used to, well, you know, growing up with my YouTubers. Anyways, I wish I would have known these statistics at a young age, because I would have felt like a lot more comforted. I would have felt a lot more like I belonged, like everything was going to be okay if I knew other people had these thoughts and were dealing with these struggles that I was dealing with. But, you know, my family that I was adopted with wanted me to feel like an alien. They wanted me to feel like a stupid whore. They wanted me to feel like a piece of garbage for my whole life. I don't know why. But karma's gonna get them, you know. I'm gonna get my blessings. Everything happens for a reason. So, moving on into the next statistic, it's actually crazy because I knew like something was up with this because I have gotten in contact with one of my old foster families. They've explained how unfairly, you know, my social workers, everyone treated my mother when she was trying to get custody, everything. So I already knew something was like fishy with this, but when I looked up the actual statistics, I was shocked. I was like, wow, it all makes sense. This is all a part of the plan. This was all a part of the white man's plan. All right, so as I stated, I was adopted, and it's actually crazy because the adoption rates for Native American children are 8.4 times higher than that of any ethnic group, or 2.7 as many Native Americans in foster care as any other ethnic group. And in the 1970s, 92.5% of Native American kids were placed with families that were not Native American, which is 6 times higher that of any ethnic group. Meaning that the majority of all these adopted kids that were snatched from their families for reasons that the white people got to keep their kids, for the reasons that the black people got to keep their kids, for the same reason the Mexicans got to keep their kids, you know, the government was just more lenient on them. For the same reason everybody else got to keep their kids. They was really just snatching us up. And instead of putting us with the people that we were, you know, supposed to be with, people of our kind, people that could teach us our heritage, make us feel welcomed, make us feel, you know, a little bit better about being adopted, because also 1 in 4 adopted kids
are 4 times more likely. 1 in 4 is a little dramatic.
So Native American kids are supposed to be put with Native American families. It's just, you know, the right thing to do, but we're 6 times more likely than any other race to be put with races that are not ours. It's actually funny to talk about this subject because it's I remember how much I've heard throughout my whole life. Even when like white people want to adopt a black baby, if one of the people of that race isn't like the other one, everyone looks at it as like a little taboo. Like, why are you gonna take a baby of a race? Now, I don't believe, you know, I believe people should be adopted by good families. So if you're going to adopt a kid, just don't be a piece of shit. I don't believe, you know, everyone has to end up with their race. Like I said, my brother was adopted by a really great white family in the end. That's good for him. But I'm not saying like people have to be put with their race or it's fucked up. But the fact that Native American kids are 6 times more likely than any other ethnic group to be put with somebody that's not their race, that's really them trying to suppress our culture. It's really making, you know, it's so that we don't get to share our culture with our kids because we didn't get to grow up with that. It's literally their way of killing off, you know, us and our culture. But it's funny because my whole life I've seen it so many times, even as a young kid, as an adolescent, as an adult. But people look down upon if like 2 white girls or 2 white guys, whatever, are to adopt a black baby or even a Mexican baby, yeah, some people are going to be cool with it, but more than not, people are going to be like, oh, like, that's kind of messed up. But not with Native Americans. It's totally cool. It's actually, yeah, because we're also, too, we're pretty much white at that point anyways. And if we're white passing, then yeah. Actually, you just white. Everybody has Native American in them, and their great grandfather. Like, no. So now that we got over, you know, my own history, a little bit of the suicide statistics, the adoption statistics, now we're going to go into general statistics. So 25% of Native Americans are in the poverty level. And they also all have a family averaging of 3.4, larger than the average American of any other ethnic group. Yet, only 30% of Native Americans have health insurance. And I am not one of them. I do not have health insurance. I went to the dentist for the first time in 6th grade. The same year I got my shots to go into the 6th grade. But my adopted mom did not like to take me to the doctor. By the time my free health insurance from the government ran out, I was already an adult and I had to like pay for it, you know. That shit's expensive. And yeah. Native Americans are 17.4 times more likely to report drug use within the past month, and 28.5 times more likely to report drug use in the past year. 10% of Native Americans have substance use disorder. 4% of Native Americans have illicit drug use disorder. 7.1% of Native Americans have alcohol abuse disorder. And 25% of Native Americans report binge drinking within the past month. And if we're not capping, I'm one of them. It comes naturally. And then also, I don't remember the exact statistics, but I'm going to throw everything up on the screen throughout the video anyways. But I'll put up the statistics right here. But Native Americans have the highest meth use out of any other ethnic group as well. Basically, we're just put here and we're more likely to die. We could get onto like the reservations and stuff in another video, but like I said, I shared my little story, and I would rather do some research about reservations and talk with my own family as well as my friends, and before making a video specifically about like the life on reservations and stuff like that. But these are just statistics that I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share my little history with you. And I wanted to also just let anybody who's watching this know that I love you and I support you and I believe in your dreams. So thank you guys for being here. Please like, comment, and subscribe because it really does mean the world to me. And turn on post notifications if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a new video. But with that being said, I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. And I will talk to you guys later. And happy Native American Heritage Month. I love you guys. Bye. I love these, by the way. Maybe if puffballs are my new thing, this is going to be my new outro.